Welcome, Alina Sanchez. So today I want to talk about money. It's like we may have money or we don't have money, but as high achieving women who are going through it, we self-sabotage our success. We link what's possible for us based on what's going on in the market as opposed to understanding what our true value is from within. We link what's possible for us based on what our job can pay us as an understanding like we can create our own reality. And so I want to talk to you today with regards to understanding what your financial future is and how you may be self-sabotaging your money. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, great. You fine. So what was going on? I can't even remember what year was it that we worked together?
2023.
Okay, so you still fresh. It's great. So what was going on with you in 2023 when you first reached out to talk to us?
So I was doing a lot of pro bono work. In fact, I was working full time for free. So $0 coming in. I was feeling productive because I was doing a lot of meaningful work and working with nonprofits and doing some stuff with the city and all kinds of interesting things, but no dollars. And I was feeling stuck. Like really, I thought on the outside I was a vision of calm, but inside I was overwhelmed. It was like, I can't breathe. I can't, like, how can I be in this position? And you talk about, if you can't see it, you can't be it, right? And I had seen it. I had seen it before. I knew that people could make a lot of money. In fact, I had made a lot of money with my business in the past, but I had gotten to a point where, it wasn't happening for me. And so I did your 3-day seminar in the spring of 2023 because it was all about knowing your worth, right? Like, and I know I provide a lot of value and I've done that in the past. I'm like, where am I missing something right now? And that 3-day seminar was a big revelation because I walked away realizing that I was connecting a lot of money with a lot of physical pain. So 10 years earlier, I had been making a lot of money with my business and I had been raising 2 little kids and I had been providing and I had been funding my husband's business and I was like depleted, so much so that I couldn't breathe. Like physically, I couldn't breathe. And one day I ended up in the emergency room because I literally couldn't breathe in. And I was like, what is going on with me? I ended up in bed for months, like just recuperating. And it was my body really, like my body had literally crushed my ribs. I had 4 broken ribs from coughing. And the pain that I was not even aware of was stopping my body from moving. And so my body was literally trying to keep me from breathing. And that's when I realized, like, okay, I know that there's a different way. Like I'm working too hard at something, and it's not working. So I had like unplugged, but I wasn't being able to re-engage. And so when that revelation about like that connection between money equals pain, I was like, okay, how do I shift that? And that's when I decided, like, I'm gonna join VFM. We had that 1 15-minute call to try to find out what my trauma default was. I'm like, okay, yeah, she's not gonna find anything here. But all I'm interested in is if I can make that $50,000. You said, well, join my program and you'll make $50,000. And I was like, well, I'm making 0 now. I said to you, can you assure me that I can make $50,000 by the end of the year? This was September. And you said yes. And I was like, okay, sign me up. That's what was going on at the time.
Did you make the $50,000?
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. How much did you make?
You are a truth teller. I made $54,000. I had a client who hired me for a 1-day strategy and planning seminar, and then kind of a fluky thing happened where I had been in a car accident 2 years before, and the person who hit me, their insurance sent me a $30,000 check.
Look at God. I mean,
Look at Christy.
yeah, God is my employer. So anything I do, we work in tandem together. Okay, great. So I didn't want to leave the cliffhanger for the people. I was like, did you make the money though?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, because this is what I know for sure, Alina, and I want to go forward and I want to go backwards. Making $50,000 isn't that hard if you know who you are. I knew who you were. You didn't know. I knew your capacity. You didn't know.
Yep.
I knew what's possible. You didn't know. So the 3-day that you're talking about is the pay raise playbook that I just made on demand. And you didn't know that you had these money blocks until somebody started to ask you these questions. You're like, oh my God, it's me. And so, yeah, making $50,000 is easy because I knew that once you got out of the way and you could believe that you can make more money, you can get it because we get what we believe. Now, what was your trauma default? And then where did that stem from?
Yeah. So that lack, and I feel like I was worshiping at the altar of deprivation. If I have to say it, I see that in my parents, they, not having enough. And that just came through. And I didn't know that, but I will say that I wanted a different life for my kids. So much so that in the conversation with my coach, Kathy, right? She said to me one time, we were talking about what we really wanted in life and what we really appreciated. And I was talking about my kids and what I did for my kids. And she said something to me. She said, well, what you're trying to do is recreate the childhood you wish you had. And I was like, well, am I? Then the next thing that she said to me was, did you have a birthday party when you turned 6? And I was like, where is she going with this? And I was like, yeah. Then I was like, no, I didn't. And that was the first time I was being punished and I didn't have a birthday party. That was a kind of a turning point. And for me, that broke open so much of kind of connecting me to that deprivation, where it came from, the lack, not enough. And being a part of this program was walking through a portal into magic and revelation and transformation every step of the way. Of course, every conversation with you, but every single person, Kathy was she was channeling the divine, and Jennifer, everybody has their own way of being connected to some great piece of advice.
Well, I think a large part is we're just getting you to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest thing that I think for adults and a lot of Alina, I talk to mostly brilliant women who have the degrees and we've done the personal development and we've read the books, but we're not living the experience. We're not necessarily applying it. And so a lot of your money blocks came from your childhood and a super religious upbringing where, money is the root of all evil. It's easier for the camel to go through an avenue than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. Rich people go burn in hell and all these other kind of things. And so when you actually started to make money, the money, when I think about if your belief of how much money you can make was here, once you started to exceed that, it was so much resistance, it crushed your ribs. Your belief about not deserving money, the money that you made couldn't exceed it, so it crushed your ribs and you just started working for free. And said that's service. No, that's not service. Not if you came here to break generational patterns. And so a part of it, the women that we work with, and the work that we do, we're called to the women who are the generational pattern breakers for our family line, to set our families free for generations. And so we're going to be different. We're going to be the weirdos. We're going to do the thing, but we get trapped in old conditioning. So you were being trapped. So yeah, you're educated and you're brilliant and you're working and you made the money, but the old conditioning from the programming is so strong, it pulled you right back to what you used to do. And so once we made you aware of it, then you just chose a different path, i.e. be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So what are some of the things that you did, Alina? Let me show you a before picture. You know I got it. Why y'all be laughing? Oh, Lord. You cute, but you're not that happy. So tell us what was going on right here. And what advice do you have for this lady right here? Because a lot of women, and one, I honor you for sharing your insight, because I just want to break women out of the patterns that they're doing, because you're not the only person who does that. What advice do you have for this version of Alina?
Well, I think at that time I was looking to be connected to something that I didn't know. I knew, I've read a lot, I've done a lot of, connected with a lot of different groups and people, and I just knew I needed something different. And when I saw you on LinkedIn, like, you're a truth teller, there was something different. And so I knew I needed to be connected to something different. And I think what you've said from the beginning is follow the recipe. I have a recipe here, and just follow the steps. And at the beginning, I had an accountability partner, and she started having dreams, and strange things were happening. And I thought, what is going on here? I don't know what it is. And I told Kathy, my coach, I was like, I feel like I'm skating on the surface. And she's like, don't pay attention to anybody else's journey. This is your journey. And I followed the steps. And I think the steps is where the magic comes. And I think all I could do was sign up and get connected to you and the program. And then the steps were the first thing, because you talk about that duct tape. You talk about that duct tape to me. I was again, I thought I look all nice and calm, but you're okay, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Right? Every day I did that for a week, just to be at that point. And then the next steps were clearing the mind, starting meditation. I'd never done meditation before. I do it every day now. And then filling the mind with all the good things. That's what then leads us to being able to do the work. And I think that, Jennifer was talking earlier today about those simple steps. There are definitely simple steps, and I do those every day. But then there's the transformation. If you're serious about this, it's doing some of that work that is even harder, like the forgiveness ritual at the very end of the program. And I think all of that is being willing to sign up for things that are hard, that you don't know,
yeah,
just the unknown.
I think a part of the work is the self-care work, because a lot of women think, oh, if I just get the money, I'll be happy. Well, you got the money and it crushed you. Your capacity to hold what God created you, your vessel is this big, but your capacity to be able to get it is this big. Yeah. So you're taking a thimble down to the ocean saying, this is all I deserve. But that's not true. You're going to get what you believe that you deserve. And so the meditation and the affirmation is rewiring what you believe to be true. Mm-hmm. Create in me, Lord, a clean heart, and renew a right spirit in me so I can get my money. But when I think that you had anxiety, because that's the only reason why I would tell you to tap. There's so many of y'all now, but I can't remember. But if I was telling you to tap, it's you have to come to yourself. You have to touch yourself so your mind can communicate with your body to say, I'm going to be okay. So what was, talk to us a little bit about that, and then what happened as you told yourself you were going to be okay? Because a lot of times, Alina, we're looking for external circumstances to prove that we're okay. We're looking for people to tell us that we're okay. We're going to be that we're going to be safe. What was the work of you telling yourself that you were going to be okay?
Yeah, because again, Dana talked about this too earlier, but we're doing everything for everyone else. We're going to be the strong ones. Like, and then that work is really about like inward, is being strong for yourself or coming to yourself. Because I was at a point where it was really hard to get up in the morning. It was like I didn't know what was going to happen next. There was a lot of uncertainty, and again, from earlier, I know the feeling of not being able to breathe and get breath, and so those were some of the feelings that I was having. And, well, I don't think other people could really sense that. You knew that, right? And so just starting there and then clearing kind of like the mind, the path, and everything to really deliberately spend the time to listen and to read and to do the work that is positive. Like, where do I want to like craft the story and where I want to go?
Yeah. Well, it's like James Allen says, if the mind can be likened to a garden, whether actively cultivated or neglected, it must bring forth. It must and it will bring forth. So if the mind can be if the mind is likened to a garden, we don't understand that we're planting, we're neglecting, and we're not putting positive seeds in. We're allowing the news to tell us to plant the seeds of what's going to happen. We're allowing our past circumstances to plant the seeds of what's going to happen. And so you're like, I have to tell myself a new story. Then you started listening to other things and reading positive books that was going to now plant new seeds of what the life that you wanted. So when you think about vision, we're stuck in our present circumstances and the present fear. We're always going to be terrified because, Alina, in 2023, it was popping off then too. 2025 is just a continuation.
Exactly.
So what advice do you have for women?
Yeah.
And so what are some practical things, or what were some of your favorite things that you listen to be able to create a new story for your life? And I wanted to be clear on that. What Alina did was she chose, I'm going to create a new story for how I want my life to go, but that's work.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So in the program, you have like a dozen different, videos or audios on all kinds of people, right? So I just like from sermons to old timey, white men.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think one of the actual exercises that was really powerful in the program was the 6 red apples, right? It's like connecting back to like who I am and what I can accomplish, and then celebrating that. Like just really getting very clear about the capabilities that I have inside. That was a super powerful exercise. And I think even when I read that, the next thing that you had me do was to buy an applause button. So because you didn't see me getting to the level that I needed to be. And so like even that exercise, so just really pushing myself outside of like the comfort that I have, because I tend to be the person behind the scenes supporting that, Fortune 500 executive, that those are my clients typically. And so to just stepping forward, I would say that some of those exercises, and then I continue to listen to those types of things today. Abraham Hicks is a person that you had us listen to. I have an accountability group with this, with BFM. There's 5 of us that get together regularly. We went on a cruise recently. So like just having that accountability within this group is a powerful tool to staying on track and accountable with what our goals are.
Well, I want to talk about the applause button.
Yeah.
What was that about? Like, what was the problem that we were trying to solve for? And then when you started applying it, what happened?
I think my sense is that you felt like I had maybe done my homework, but I wasn't connecting with that content, right? Like you actually have to hear the applause because you're not doing it for yourself. That's what I thought. And Kathy, I had some other advice for me that was along those lines. Do you know, like step out, step up, you know, like and listening to that, like it felt kind of silly to me at first. I kind of wanted to close the door and not let anybody else hear because and then it's really about shining your light, like being confident enough to shine your light and stepping into that power. And so exercises around affirmations and that those powerful statements that trigger in your mind, you know, that yeah, this is what I'm here for. That's, I know what I'm capable of, but like being out there and being comfortable with that.
Well, I think a part of it is you said something where women who shrink, which you wouldn't call it shrinking because you're powerful. We shrink and we stand behind people and do all the work. You're always in the background. So you're the background, but you're the person who's making everything move, but nobody sees you. Mm-hmm. So when I think about where we are right now with regards to women, I'm like, the women who are silent are the ones who are being shanked. Because nobody know the woman is doing all the work. And so like you're the background. The goal was learn how to clap for yourself, because if you're performing, you're not celebrating the achievement. And so you're afraid to shine, you're afraid to be seen. So because it's like we're not allowed to celebrate our accomplishments. Nobody's going to clap when a woman achieves something. So clap for yourself. All right, buy a button and clap for yourself so you can become accustomed to self-celebrating. Mm-hmm. Right? You can become accustomed to owning the new foundation of what you want to create, so you can continue to move forward. So, last question. What is, you know, when I think about an accountability group, and this is an accountability group of people who are on path to be better, because there's so many women who are friends with people who just want to cope. Or, you know, when I think about in my career, we used to compare who had on Friday, we would get together for a happy hour and compare who had the worst week and eat nachos and empanadas. And I used to drink the blueberry lemonades with the blueberry vodka with some lemonade in it. Delicious. Put me some blueberries in the bottom of the glass because my week sucked. So we normalize suffering, and we normalize, you know, not moving forward, not understanding that when we create a new path, we now going to need to get some new friends.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that with regards to whenever you want to step out and be somebody different and break the old money pattern so you can create a new reality for your family and for yourself? We're going to have to let some people go. Yeah. Was that easy or was that hard for you? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say I work alone and I work from home, and so I think it was less of letting people go and more finding the kinds of people that I wanted to be around. And so certainly this community was one of those. And then there's other groups where I was trying to decide, you know, should I join this Leadership Austin? And I thought at first you would say no, but you said yes, that's go. And now 9 months later, I'm graduating this Friday from this group, and there's 65 amazing leaders, and I've met with 63 of the other 64 people one-on-one. And I have all these amazing connections. And there's studies that say you're the average of your, you know, closest 5 friends. Or I think there's a new study that says, even if you're proximate, like even if you work like within, 10 feet of somebody, like that's successful, you're going to be more successful, right? So like the exercise of like being deliberate around spending time with the types of people that are doing the interesting work, that are the inspired leaders, that are making things happen in the world. Like that's where I'm going to be, and that's where I am now, because I'm spending that time to focus in on that.
What are your beliefs around money now versus what they used to be?
Yeah. If I think about what they used to be, I feel like I knew that I could make money, but I feel like I was digging ditches with a pencil. Just so hard. And I think the mind shift now is I know I can provide value. I know I have clients now that, will pay me a lot of money for leadership development coaching. And so like they value it so much. They talk about the transformation. We work on, specific business issues. So it's that shift. It's that shift of knowing, like, you don't have to work harder, but you have to know what your value is. You actually have to know that for yourself so that you can articulate that for others.
Yeah, you set the tone for how people value you based on how you value yourself. And if you don't think that you have value, they don't think they have value. Yeah. If you're going to work for free, full time for free, they will let you.
And let me just say, and it's not that easy because we have really, we have patterns that and we have ruts. And so I'll just tell you, it was the end of March that I got together with my VFM accountability group. And I was running into an issue where I had a client who was wanting to pull me in for a project and for free. And they were like, no, you are not going to do that. And so I had a group of 3 other women who were so clear about reminding me of my value, because we've been in this group together for like a year and a half, and we know what each other's strengths are and where we kind of fall. And so having that group around you that lifts you up and reminds you has been like the world.
Good. Well, thank you so much. Before we join, I got one more question. We're going to jump because I'm a wow. What advice do you have for women who believe that their opportunities are limited based on where we are today?
And that goes back to there's so much noise, and we don't have to say there's noise out there, but there's noise inside of us, right? There's all of the chaos that can happen just in our own heads, in our own families, our close circles, and then the world. And the practice of being still and being reflective and getting clear about our personal purpose and spending the time to define that, I think that makes all the difference. Like, we get to decide where we spend our energy and where we spend our headspace, but being deliberate about that is I think the most important thing. Surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be like and be, doing interesting things with. And then I would say the last thing is the story. We create our own stories, right? And we've created some stories that simply don't serve us. And so if we're serious about having a different life than we have right now, we need to create those stories and then live into them.
I think it's really about, to wrap up what you said, is living life with intention. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to become aware of how we got stuck in the pattern and owning that as a truth without judgment, but then being intentional about how we're now going to change that. One of the things Dr. Miles Monroe said, he says, people who are walking in their destiny live very narrow lives, because we now know where we're going, we know what won't get us there. Because we know who we want to be and where we're going, we know who won't get us there. So we become intentional about everything. Like, you listen to positive stuff. You don't listen to negative stuff to tell you what you're not going to be, because you know where you're going.
Yeah.
You surround yourself with people that are going to align with where you're going, because you know that you need other people and you can't do it alone. right? So you're like the loner who now had to create connections of these people are going to get me to where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy for you because I remember I like to bring up old stuff, who you used to be before the Lord touched and agreed with you. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insight with everybody today. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this marathon. Go, you want to say something?
Oh, I want to thank you,
Oh,
Christy, for just being you, for offering up, all of the good content and the path, showing us the path. And I'm so grateful to know you and everybody associated with your organization. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We over here Vision Finding International. We've adjusted a couple of things. I would like to tell people y'all should have got in because we're shifting. But no, I'm proud of you, and I am always expecting that my clients will get better with time. Mm-hmm. That is the expectation, and it's not that easy to be a client of Vision Finding International because I'm a low key stalker, and I'm always looking for y'all to expand and get better. But it's also somebody who, when I think about we used to be addicted to proving people wrong. Now y'all are just proving me right. That's a healthy person to prove. That's a healthy way to prove. Is like, all right, well, Christy said I can make this amount of money. Let me go get it. Mm-hmm. It's possible. Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Well, everybody, y'all have a great week. I don't even know what today is. This is Monday. Y'all have a great week.